This year, we released a huge update to the Tonic pad player in the Sunday Keys app. And a few months after that, we put the same Tonic pad player inside of the Prime app as well. And since then, when we updated Tonic, we've been putting new pad presets and layers inside of the Tonic pad every single month. And at this point, there's an incredible range of different pad sounds that you can get from the Tonic pad player. You can see just how many options there are to choose from. And when you select one, you can adjust each of these 4 individual layers for even more fine-tuned control. You can select the individual layer sound and swap out the sound entirely, or you can choose a different voicing for that sound. So I could choose complex second instead of sparse second, and then I'd get mostly the 1 and the 2, but with a little bit more frequent of a cadence than the simple voicing. And when we released this feature, we weren't sure if folks would fully get it. We thought, maybe they'd be glad to have more presets, but we didn't know if folks would really dive into the individual layers and voices and start building sounds in the pad player of their own. We were super duper wrong. You folks are building all sorts of interesting things for yourself, pushing the limits of what the Tonic pad player even was really designed to do. We had one thing that we thought we might do in the future in mind that wasn't included in the first version of this new Tonic pad player. We thought it would be a cool idea, but we wanted to wait and see how far people would push this new feature before we decided whether or not we should include it in an update to the app. You guys anticipated this. It was right away in the comments of that video announcing the new Tonic pad player that you asked for one very specific but super useful additional functionality. And today, if you haven't figured it out, we're announcing that that is now available inside of the Sunday Keys app. We've added this new feature to the Tonic pad player. Now, no more suspense. Here's what it is. As of the newest version of the Sunday Keys app, you can now choose to store the Tonic pad player, everything about it, to any specific snapshot that you would like. So that means not only can you patch lock, meaning when you select a patch in your set list, Tonic will automatically adopt those settings, but then you can further adjust the Tonic pad player as you move through your patch via snapshots. So this gives you another level of control so that as you move through your patch and the snapshots adjust your volumes, your effects, the mix of your overall keyboard sound, you can also increase the volume or change out the layers, load an entirely different preset, change the key, adjust the brightness and the shimmer, all with smooth transitions over time, which is just what you expect when it comes to using snapshots inside of Sunday Keys. So this is actually really simple to do. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Let me show you how it works. Now, you can adjust this in 2 different ways. One, any individual snapshot can control the Tonic pad player. And you do this by opening the Customize menu. So I'm going to long press here and choose Customize for this snapshot. And then you can see that by default here, you're going to have this grayed out. It's going to be using the default snapshot settings, which are in the settings menu. More about that in a minute. But if you'd like to do this per snapshot, just turn on Use Custom Settings, and at the bottom you'll see this new toggle for Snapshot Adjusts Tonic Pad. So I'm going to turn this on. Now that means all of these timing specific things, like how long the transition is, like 1 bar, or I could change it to time and say, 7 seconds, 9 seconds, whatever. This will now apply to the Tonic pad as well. So now, the next time I save this snapshot, it's going to store whatever the Tonic pad is currently doing. So right now the Tonic pad is off in the key of F. I'm going to turn it on, bring up the volume. I really love this Quiet Pastures preset. If you haven't checked this one out, please do. It's awesome. Okay, I've got Tonic dialed in where I want, so now I'm just going to hit my Save Snapshot button. Now I'm going to go to my sub-bass snapshot. Now this is not going to impact my Tonic pad by default because I haven't opened the Customize menu and turned that behavior on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. Now I can make changes to the Tonic pad and store them to this snapshot. So a simple example would just be changing keys. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to choose that key instead. And now when I go to my down snapshot, we're going to fade out of B flat and into F over time as other things are happening in my patch, right? So can play, Tonic's going to smoothly transition. Then when I select this snapshot, we're going to fade out of F and into B flat. So that's a very simple example. But you can save whatever you'd like. The volume, so I could have it, slowly fade all the way out if I wanted to, or just fade to a lower volume. Maybe I wanted to stay in the key of F, but I wanted it to be significantly darker, something like that, maybe for a down part. So I'll save that there. Now as I go back and forth, you can see that brightness is fading up for this down snapshot, and then it will fade down for add sub bass. So those are a couple basic implementations of this. Now, this is where I think it gets really, really cool. Let's go ahead and open the Tonic Pad menu. And you can store all of these values to a snapshot as well, other than the crossfade and pan. Those are global, but everything in this main area here, factory presets that you select and individual Tonic Pad layers and their volumes can be stored as well. So let's say for this one, I just really wanted something super bright. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna swap out this piano entirely for a pad. And I have a pad in here that's just called bright. And I use this high one a lot for adding energy for big moments. But it's super noticeable, right? So I've got that in there. Now I'm gonna save it. So when I go to this snapshot, that layer is going to be loaded in and it's gonna play at that volume. But it's not saved to this other snapshot. So when I select that bright pad fades out, and you can see we're right back to this piano, this vibe upright. So I've got one layer that's unique for each of these snapshots, which means I can be playing something in, let's see, we're in F, so I'll go. Now I'm gonna bring in the sub bass and this bright synth. You hear that? It's incredible to be able to fade that little texture, that extra air in over time and just keep playing the piano. And if I go back down, that brightness, that air is gonna fade out. Your favorite worship songs are doing this, right? In the studio, the producer's drawing automation up or down for the level of a bright ambient pad or different ambient layers as the song progresses. And now you can do it too with snapshots. So that's how you can do this per snapshot. You long press on any one snapshot, choose customize, make sure that you're actually customizing the entire snapshot. So use custom settings on, and then you can choose whether you want that snapshot to adjust the Tonic Pad or not. Now, if you think that you're gonna use this almost all of the time, you can save yourself a bit of time and not have to use the customize menu very often by going to settings, snapshots, and then these are the globals for snapshots for the default timing. So any snapshot that doesn't have use custom settings turned on just says default at the bottom. And whatever that default is defined by this menu. So I could say I want it over time, I want it in beats, and then you can choose whether the snapshot adjusts Tonic Pad. So if I turn this on here, then all of my default snapshots, so if I load a patch from the library and try to load in one of those and have default snapshots like this one, this default snapshot is going to store my Tonic Pad, and any additional snapshots I save that have that default timing option are also going to affect my Tonic Pad. So if this is something that you love and you know you're going to use it all the time, you don't have to go into that customize menu for every single snapshot. Just change the global once and then all of your defaults will follow. And your defaults also pass through to your customize. So as soon as you turn on use custom settings, it has those same settings here. And then you can also always exclude a given snapshot if you want all of them but one to affect the Tonic Pad. So this is in the App Store right now. Go to the App Store and update to the latest version of the app, and you can start taking advantage of this feature. It's available on iPad and on Mac. Of course, you can MIDI learn snapshots to whatever controller you'd like, or you can just trigger them on screen. I think this is an incredible way to make the Tonic Pad even more valuable. And like I said, we are adding new presets and layers to the Tonic Pad every month. So if you're not checking those out, make sure you go into the Sound Downloads Manager in the app, download them every month when they release, and you'll always have new Tonic Pads at your fingertips. Leave a comment and let us know how you're gonna use this feature. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and enjoy this new feature.